Andrew Leung, why does China want war? At a time when the world is dealing with a virus that China unleashed, for the Chinese to be so intransigent and even militarily crazy and suicidal. The Indian army is sitting on the tops, on the mountain tops. You got the Chinese army coming up. You're sending these troops up almost like cannon fodder. It's almost as if you want bloodshed. You then want to blame the Indian army that you killed XYZ number of Chinese soldiers and now you want to escalate hostilities. What in the world is going on, Andrew Leung?
Well, I don't think that China wants a war, nor does India, because both countries are nuclear armed. Both countries are rather strong on its military, and the territorial integrity is very, very important issue on both sides. And that's why both sides have agreed that no bullets should be fired. You know, that's that kind of protocol has been held for 40 years until now. And then, as was mentioned just now, both sides, the defense ministers, only recently met in Moscow with the intention of scaling down the conflict. As I said, I mean, if what was happening on the front lines could well lead to unintended consequences, and then even if both sides don't want a war, any kind of fresh or hot kind of conflict would immediately escalate, and then the consequences would be very, very difficult to control. And also, it's not a battle for heights, because these are only tactics. It's not going to solve the problem. And also, I don't think that the signal has been sent from up high to fire the shots, no matter where this.
No, but then let's focus on that, because we've got some people who understand military tactics really well. And I want to go across to General Kulkarni. I want to show you these pictures, because what we don't know, we don't know. But what we know, let's try and dive deep into that as much as we can. What you're seeing on your screen in a moment are those pictures of the Chinese army and the Indian army locked in conflict. Now, spend a moment with me visualizing what would have happened in the build-up to this face-off. What we can see in those pictures is the Indian army deployed on a mountain, somewhere in the middle of the mountain. Doesn't seem like the top, but they're on the top. They're above the Chinese army. The Chinese army has come up, and now they're basically negotiating, as the Chinese government would have us believe, with the Indian army and saying, go back. Now, General Kulkarni, any person with any basic understanding of military tactics realizes that if you are serious about trying to evict a force that's dominating the heights, you need to send in many more soldiers than the number of soldiers who are ensconced on the height. Remember, in Kargil, when the Pakistani army was dominating, whether it's Tiger Hill or Tololing or any of the other heights, we sent in 7 times the number of people, the Mujahideen and the Northern Light, the Pakistani army, the Northern Light Infantry that were deployed on the heights. Now you've got 40 to 50 Chinese soldiers, we are told, coming up to this position. What's the message? What are they attempting? What are they trying to do? Why are they sending their boys up like cannon fodder? Are they, as I suspect, General Kulkarni, in your view as well, trying to escalate? That someone somewhere fires and then we'll say the Indians opened fire and now we want to fire back. What do you think is going on militarily in these pictures, sir?
Rahul, I have faced similar situation about 15 years back. Now when you're talking about it, it's just struck me. 15 years back, similar situation on a different height. I will not tell you where, but different height. In same manner, they came, they just went round the post, and then we actually had to push them back. And then, of course, 15 years back, the situation wasn't that bad. If you called for their commander and told him, come on, get back, they understood and they did disengage themselves and left within about half an hour. But today, let me tell you, it's a serious situation. The Chinese must not indulge in it. For any small handing of a situation, it will go out of control, firstly. Secondly, what I feel now, having occupied these heights around the Chushul Valley, they have lost the battle of Chushul ab initio. They cannot do anything. They cannot launch their mechanized columns and light tanks that they have lined up all behind. They just cannot do it. They know it's absolutely no go. They have lost north of Pingangso. They know it is no go. Now, what do they do now? They are in a very the absolute bind that the Indians have surprised them. Indians have occupied their height without a single shot being fired, and all that they were planning to do was difficult. Now, this kind of, even if there were 40 people, what I think the local commander must have told them, just go and occupy the height. We will see what it is. And if we get into a fist fight, you know what you are equipped with. Let's do whatever we can do. It's an absolute moments of frustration and desperation that is set into the Chinese commanders. And the very fact that the Western theater commander today, who's supposedly very, very close to Xi Jinping, who on his birthday did what he did at Galwan, now you realize that he is on a back foot. He knows the question and for which he was lifted from Doklam and brought to Eastern Ladakh and made the Western theater commander is in a bind. He has lost his battle ab initio. He can forget it. The way the Indian army is occupying the heights in and around Chushul, Chinese can forget it. Ab initio, they've lost the battle.